We're getting Terence Crawford again. Let me make sure I got the name right. Terence Crawford. Nope, I don't want to see him with Spence. He's getting David Avanasayan, who only has 3 losses. He's been knocked out by Mean Machine, but we're getting it. I know you've been waiting for it.
By the way, he was knocked out by Mean Machine.
Mean Machine.
But listen,
yeah, who wouldn't get knocked out by Mean Machine at the top of the...
But then we give the fans everything. We give them the full X-ray. But Crawford knocked out Mean Machine, who knocked out...
Yeah, but that doesn't matter, no. Teddy. Styles make fights. You know Avanasayan is a perfect opponent for Crawford. This is gonna be even money. And then we're gonna get Errol Spence. Looks like he might fight Amanatas.
But what kind of money is going to be used for that? Is it monopoly money? Is it
sure?
Is it real cash money? Because
and then Teddy, we're getting the other one. You've been waiting for this. We've been talking about it again. Errol Spence against Eminayas Stanionis, the Lithuanian fighter. He's 14-0. Teddy's knocked out 9 guys. We're getting it. All those fights by the end of the year, I don't even know how do you control the enthusiasm.
It doesn't matter that one of those guys used to be your chauffeur, because no, it don't, because if you're a chauffeur for Ken, that's a high esteem position. It is driving that two block long limo. Really?
Can you imagine that these are the fights we're gonna get? I love Terence Crawford. We don't really know Errol Spence, but what the hell? I mean, come on. This is
Ken. The way you went into that was brilliant, and got everyone's attention. And you know what? To that point, don't you wish? And I know this is obviously a question that doesn't have to be asked after what you just said and after what we just went through. But don't you just wish that boxing could take a little page out of UFC and that these guys would be just a half as willing to do what these UFC fighters are willing to do, which is to get in with anybody. I mean, Volkanovski doesn't even hesitate. We know what a monster Makhachev is, and Volkanovski has the title. Not even hesitating. Not even that. Now, listen, I'm not blaming it all on the fighters. I mean, no,
I agree. I think those fighters would fight anyone, but the business people involved 100%. Are making a mess of this.
But there's other elements. There's other things to consider. First of all, the way this business works, UFC does have an edge. They have Dana White. They have one guy,
100%.
One guy who runs everything. It's his way or the highway. You're getting in tough fights because that makes the brand good. That keeps the brand healthy. That keeps the business healthy, and it's good for everybody. It's good for Dana, yeah, but it's good for the brand. It's good for the UFC brand, and the fighters will prosper for that. Do they get the huge money? People say, the certain ones do. Certain, you have a chance to get to there. Even more so since Conor McGregor came around. You got a chance to get to that place. But you're not going to be given layups. You're not going to be given slam dunks. But is it a disservice or a service? Well, I have to say, you can make a big argument it's a service to the fans that they know what they're getting and they're going to be there because they know they're going to get competitive fights no matter what. And I'll tell you where it's another service. It's a service where fighters with 8 losses, yeah, I said it, 8 losses, which is a death sentence, 1 loss, 2 losses, death sentence, the way boxing treats it and the way that the networks treat it and the way the promoters treat it. But not in UFC. A guy with 8 losses could go in there, get a title fight, and win. Why? Because he's been developed, because he's been forged, because he's been through the fire. He has learned how to fight. With his losses, he has become the fighter. He has reached his full potential as a fighter. That doesn't always happen with fighters. They're navigated to 20-0, 16-0, 17-0, whatever. And they don't necessarily get the fights that they need to become the best they can become. They get the fights they need to get on network TV to get to that payday. They get that. But not to become necessarily the best fighter, ready for somebody that might be lurking in their shadow someday, waiting for them, that has developed in those areas more than just their record. So in the end, it's a bit of a service that these fighters learn how to fight, become the best they can. They get forced to do that, and then they still have a chance with 6, 7, 8, 9 losses to still make money, to still fight the best, to still win a world title. And there's something to be said about that. And again, it's only fair to, again, remind people, the advantage of the UFC is you got one guy running the show, he makes the rules, and you got to abide by those rules. You got 4 power brokers in boxing, basically. That's it. And they don't care about the brand of boxing. They don't care about they don't care about the health of the sport. They don't care about the fans. I got to be honest. They don't care day to day about the fans or the health of the sport. They care about their piece of property and making the most money on that piece of property. Their piece of property is their stable of fighters. They care about protecting that, keeping that, having their sugar daddy. There's sugar daddies. Yeah, there's sugar daddies everywhere. There's sugar daddy is the network. They care about keeping their stable undefeated or close to it with their stars and signing new kids coming up, keeping them with those glossy records where the network love it, where the network could put it out and say, look at this undefeated guy fighting, come watch it. So they care about that, and they care about the money that earns them. They don't care about the overall sport and the welfare of the overall sport. They don't care about making the best matches unless it happens to fit into their spectrum of things where it works for them right then. They don't care about making the best match for the fans. They care about making sure that they control both ends of the match, that they control both fighters, that they control the promotion, that they control the money. They have the power. That's what they care about. They don't allow the fighters to go across the street and fight some other fight that we want, that the fans want. They don't allow that. No. You're not going across the street because you might not come back, because I might lose you. And I can't control the promotion where I can steal the money. I didn't mean to say steal. Where I can make the most profit by controlling both ends of controlling the whole promotion. So I'm not letting that happen. Does it happen once in a while? Yeah, it happened. It happened some years ago with Mayweather and Pacquiao. But the problem was it happened 5 years too late. When the demand for it got so big, it had to happen, but it was 5 years too late. They were past their prime. Pacquiao was past his prime. So is that going to happen again here? There's a danger to it? I don't know. The one X factor here that's going for it, and again, I'm not blaming the fighters. But I'm also not completely saying, because I'm not naive, that the fighters don't have a say, don't have a way of demanding. But at the end, demanding I get in with this guy. You work for me, the promoter. You work for me. I want this fight. So they can do that. But it still is business. It is still business. And these fighters risk everything. So they deserve to make as much cash as they can. I cannot begrudge Terence Crawford, who I think is the best fighter in the business right now. I cannot begrudge him for making a pot of money against the lesser opponent if someone's willing to give him that pot of money. And then in between, because he made it clear from what I could see, there's always two sides to a story. I'm not blaming this one or that one and saying this one's right, this one's wrong. I'm just putting it all out there. He wanted to fight before the year end. He wants to stay active. He's a real fighter like Spence is. Yeah, he wants to make money. Yeah, he's 35 years old, whatever he is, and he's got to make it. You better make it now. You better make as much as you can now. He understands that. So if a promoter is going to hand him a pot of money to fight a lesser guy, a safer guy, and he said if we could make this fight now, we'll do it. But it bogged down for whoever's fault it was. He said, I'm not going to sit around and wait. He understands how the business, he don't know how long it could be. It could be another 6 months, another year. Who knows? But he said, I want to stay active, number one, and I'm going to make a pot of money somebody's willing to give me to stay active with a safe opponent. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, that's right. Now, I think Spence wants to fight too. I think he does too. But the one who was locked in, Spence, locked in with PBC with Heyman. Now, the Crawford left Arum. Top Rank. That was in the way before. It's not in the way no more because he's a free agent now. Although he's just signed with a new promoter, I guess, who's willing to give him this kind of money. You know, I don't know how long the agreement is. I don't know how many fights it is, whatever. But he signed with a new promoter who wants to make a splash with Crawford, right? And they're going to sell it for the right price, maybe $39, right? $39.99, whatever. Thank God it's under $40, right, Ken? With Christmas coming, thank God it's under $40. If it was over $40, that was my breaking point. So see, Ken, I could be as sarcastic as you. So he goes and he's making this. So the new promoter comes along and going to give him this money. He's going to make a splash. He hopes he is. And he hopes he doesn't lose his lungs. I think he might lose his lungs. Keeping the price down, maybe he sells enough. I don't know. For this fight, I don't know. I love Crawford, but he was never a guy that sold a lot on his own. He's good. He's very good. He's the best fighter in the world, I think. And his sell. But I think he needs someone to sell it with, maybe. There's not too many guys that can sell it alone. Not too many. We'll find out. But at that price, it helps. It makes it a little easier. But they're giving him a lot of money. And it's his biggest payday ever. I can't blame him for taking it. I can't blame Crawford for taking it. But I could see another. What was that promoter that was doing the Cambosis? Teofimo. Nobody. What was it? Triller. Now Triller.
They were a flash in a pan.
Yeah. Now Triller came along. They were gonna, all guns blazing. They were gonna make a splash, right? They did make a splash, right to the bottom of the ocean. But anyway, they were gonna make a splash, and they promised Teofimo all this money. They had to give him some guarantees. The big money. Teofimo, left Top Rank for the minute, went over there to make the money. Can't blame him. And make all this big money against Cambosis, who didn't realize how tough a fighter was. But he goes in there and makes all the. And what happens? Well, the new promoter, the new kid on the block, maybe found out why these other grizzled promoters, cheapsteaks, right? These cheap steaks, they don't give the money out. But they know what they're doing. They only give out what they think it can make.
Well, all you need to know is they're not in the business anymore.
Yeah, that's all you need to know. Clothes out of business. You go buy their clothes. The shades are down. So I don't know how long this.
Try to hand at boxing. Lost our shorts.
We'll see. But in the meantime, the fight we want is not happening. Everybody, I think I laid it out the right way. Everybody deserves some responsibility and fault towards that. Hopefully it'll happen now soon. I believe that money aside and everything else aside, I really do believe that Crawford wants this for his legacy. He wants this fight against the best out there right now. The same way Sugar Ray Leonard wanted Tommy Hearns and wanted Duran. The same way for their legacy, to show they're the best. And I think Spence too. I think they're both 100% real fighters in those areas. But again, there's, it's a business. Hyman Roth, it's not personal. It's business. Now, who gets hurt? I feel for the fans. I'm one of them. Who gets hurt? The fans. I get it. I get them that they're sick and tired. But there's a way you can deal with this. The same way as if you don't like what's going on with the politicians in your area. Vote them out. Well, your voting is to turn the TV off. That's all you got to do. If that's how you really feel, that's all you have to do is turn that TV off. Believe me, they will eventually get the message. But you have that power. You forget sometimes. Oh, gee, we're getting screwed again. Yeah, okay. But again, just like you could go vote for who you want, vote somebody out. Well, tune somebody out. Okay? Tune somebody out just by turning that knob.